Welcome to the second part of the Somewhere Enchanted audiobook. Let's see, where were we? Oh, yes.
Is that not why you're here?
She replied.
To find more land for the El-Numbriumites?
He rose and walked gently towards her.
I would ask how you know these things, but after my experience since entering the forest, I am guessing you are just as enchanted, perhaps even more so.
He said, rubbing his chin.
Follow me,
she replied. It was a long walk. They passed large numbers of chickens, cows, pigs, sheep, and much more, all looking healthy, well-kept and fat.
We've been walking for miles. All I see is grassland and animals and no people,
he said.
Isn't it just beautiful?
They kept walking until they came to a great sprawling stretch of water. It extended beyond the horizon and seemed to go on forever.
I have never seen so much sand and angry water before,
he whispered.
We only have lakes in El-Nubrium.
El-Nubrium was a village surrounded by the highest mountains. No one had ever reached the top of the mountains, which were covered by clouds. Some people lived in the foothills of the mountains, but past a certain level it was uninhabitable. The only known habitable land was to the south, where the cursed forest was. The lady walked towards the water without a care about the incoming tides. She stuck her hand in the water and pulled something out, a bizarre creature, its body formless and clammy, with countless little appendages wiggling about beneath it.
What is that creature?
He asked.
It's called an octopus. The male octopus mates with the female and dies, and then the female lives long enough to have her babies and dies afterwards. These two die, so hundreds of thousands shall live. I think I've taken too much of your time. Go now. Your village needs you. You've been missing for quite a while,
she urged.
But what about all this land? My people need land, and you have not only land, but food and resources to feed generations.
I showed you the land for a reason. Your people can have it if you complete my quests.
He glared at her.
What quest?
He asked.
Everything in its time. Go now. Hurry. Your wife needs you.
With that, she turned and walked away. He ran for the most part, stopping every now and then to sip some wine. When he reached the cave, he wondered how many hours had passed since he first arrived. He didn't like the idea of walking through the blades, but taking a deep breath, he walked through, reaching the other side unharmed. It was very early in the morning when he arrived back in the village. As he approached his garden, he heard a scream.
He's alive!
A pretty woman, nearly half his size, rushed down the garden pathway and threw herself into his arms, tears streaming down her face. She kissed, then slapped him, and he put her down quickly.
Ow! What was that for? I was only gone a full day at most, and I told you I would be gone for quite a while,
he said, holding a hand to his burning cheek.
A full day? A full day, he says. You went there, didn't you? To the cursed forest? You went there, and 4 months was a day?
She finished, staring disapprovingly at him.
4 months? That can't be. That woman.
What woman?
His wife asked.
Who were you with when I was crying day and night in fear that the forest had taken your life?
We only spoke a few words. It seemed like a few hours. I didn't even catch her name, but she had powers, and there was a spinning sword protecting her.
He trailed off.
I have so much to tell you. I'm starving for now. Can we talk over some breakfast? You prepare some food. I'll gather some people together. I want everyone to hear this.
He went to the houses of his friends and family members, inviting them to eat breakfast at his home. A lengthy discussion followed, ending with all being curious about what the quest could be. They also told him that after a few days of him being gone, they searched the land. Upon reaching the shrubs that previously blocked the entrance to the forest, they noticed a path had been cut. No one dared to venture in, but at least they knew where he went.
We have something urgent to tell you as well,
a man announced.
You won't believe it, but the elders have passed a rule. It is now law that any couple having more than one child should have any additional children killed. God, it's
He
horrific.
concluded.
Then I must return quickly. We can't have dead babies on our conscience.
Gretos replied.
Whatever the quest is, I will do it. Have any babies been killed yet?
He added,
Not yet.
replied Ona, his wife.
It starts in 10 months.
Good. Only God knows how long this journey will take. There is not a minute to spare. I will rest and leave this afternoon.
So soon?
She asked.
I'm glad you are so understanding. I'm blessed with a wife that's not only beautiful, but kind and patient.
I'll miss you.
Said Ona.
I'll miss you too.
He replied.
Find out what the woman wants and let us know.
Said one of the men gathered around the table. With that, Gretos said goodbye to everyone, he and his wife departing to rest.
I hope you have some energy for me.
She said as they walked up the stairs. He laughed. Later, Ona woke him up with a kiss.
It's time.
She whispered.
Already?
He replied before he kissed her forehead and rose to put his clothes on. He packed his gear again, taking with him some wine, cheese, and bread. She walked him to the garden, where they hugged and kissed once more, then parted. Walking through the spinning blades, Gretos saw the lady sitting on the rock by the lake again.
You knew I'd come back, and you know what for, so please tell me now, what is the quest?
He asked.
You must defeat Togard, the invisible guard.
As she finished the statement, the blade at the door stopped spinning. It had a long grip in the middle, where the two blades joined together at their pummels to make a single one. Its bearer slowly became visible. He separated the swords and came charging towards Gretos.
I accept!
Yelled Gretos, and their blades clashed. Togard was a large fellow, bigger than Gretos, with broad shoulders, bushy eyebrows, and long curly hair with very dark skin. He had red eyes, a bull nose ring, 2 earrings in each ear, and was dressed in a black satin garment. Togard's hits were heavy, but Gretos' strength and his cutlass's firm blades took the hits, especially when he crossed them together. Gretos slid under Togard's legs, then swept them out from under him. Togard fell over backward, head crashing on the floor, swords falling out of hands. Gretos had won. Standing over him with his blade to his face, Gretos said to the woman,
I have completed your quest.
Quests.
she replied. He looked at her, startled.
More than one. 2 in total, to be exact. Remember the octopus? Well, I gave you the example of the circle of life for a reason. You and your wife must give up your lives for the village to survive and thrive.
Excuse me?
Gretos gasped. Togard rose, picked up his swords, and stood by his mistress's side.
I won't play fair. Should you choose to get violent with my mistress?
Togard added.
I can freeze him where he stands, ready for you to chop his head off.
She said.
I have no cause to try and harm any of you, which is more than I could say for you.
Gretos responded.
You must bring your wife here and behead her. Togard will behead you. This is how the ritual must be conducted. This is the circle of life. You and your wife are the parent octopuses, and you must die so that many young shall live. As soon as you are both dead, the power protecting the forest will stop. The season of permanent spring will spread throughout the forest and garden, down to the land we are in. The spinning sword guard will come with me to a distant land, and all the land stretching from the forest to the garden, to this land shall be given to your people to inhabit. Even the angry waters,
she said mockingly.
shall belong to your people.
Tears streamed down Gretos' face. He said nothing, just walked away.
You think you will come back, mistress?
Said Togard. He made his way back to his house. He didn't stop to drink, but merely walked in silence, his tears falling. Ona saw him from afar and ran towards him. At the sight of her, he broke down in tears again.
What happened?
She asked. Gathering himself together, he asked,
How long has it been?
3 months.
she replied.
Then I must hurry. We, should you wish to come, must hurry.
He said.
We?
She asked.
Let's go inside. I don't want to tell anyone this but you.
He told her everything, and they cuddled and cried together for a long time.
What do we tell our families? Our friends?
Asked Ona.
We just tell them the curse of the forest will be lifted in 6 months, and they can test it. And I'll tell them we must wait for them as part of the deal. I'll tell them I defeated her champion, and that's all I needed to do. You are so brave. I love you deeply.
He ate, rested, and went to each of their family members and friends, telling them what he and Ona had discussed. He got home late.
Are you ready?
He asked.
As ready as I can be.
She said and smiled.
Let's go save the village.
Halfway through the journey to the forest, she stopped, looked him sternly in the face and said,
Promise me something, my love.
What is it? Anything.
He asked.
Promise me that when the blade falls on my neck, you do it in one sweep.
She responded.
Darling, don't talk like that.
Gretos said, almost in tears.
I don't want to suffer, Gretos. Promise me.
I promise.
He muttered. When they reached the scented gardens, Ona stopped walking, allowing her tears to fall freely.
Life is so beautiful,
she said.
When I die, I want you to bury me here, underneath these pretty flowers.
It will be my honor.
He replied, smiling half-heartedly.
Come now, we aren't far.
They continued on to the waterfall, then reached the cave. Upon entering the cave, he noticed that the exit was clear, the rotating blades gone.
Come now, we've been waiting for you two,
said the lady. As he entered, Ona was in awe, not only at the beauty of the lady, but the beauty of the land they stepped into. She stared disapprovingly at the 7-foot giant who stood behind the lady, as he had his blade ready in hand. It was as if Togard had been waiting for this moment all his life.
Kneel before the rock and place your head on it,
the lady said coldly.
And how do we know you will keep your word?
Ona inquired.
You think if I wanted to kill you, I couldn't have just sent Togard to behead you both in your sleep? This is the ritual. It's the circle of life. Now kneel, child,
the lady said impatiently. Gretos couldn't take it any longer. He wanted it over and done with. He grabbed Ona by the arm and led her hastily towards the rock, pulling out his cutlass.
Wait, I'm not ready,
yelled Ona.
Kiss me.
Quivering even at the lips, he bent down and kissed Ona for the last time.
God forgive us,
he said, and brought the blade down on her neck. The woman's laughter cut through the air right before the blade touched Ona's neck. Gretos found himself on the ground, the blade gone from his hand. Ona was unharmed, and Gretos disarmed yet again. Togard then reappeared, walking back to his mistress, Gretos' cutlasses in his hand. He had been the one disarming Gretos all along.
Do I look like a monster to you, boy?
The lady asked. Togard laughed.
You should have seen your faces.
He added in a strange accent. The lady slapped his arm.
Shut up, Togard,
she said.
What does all this mean?
Gretos asked, as he joyously helped Ona to her feet.
It means you passed my final test. You are both pure in heart and would have died for your people. You would make a good king and queen. Long live the king and queen of the great lands. It's all yours, as promised. Come, Togard. We have more fish to fry in distant lands,
she added as the lady and Togard walked off. Gretos and Ona stood in disbelief and shock.
Wait, I didn't catch your name,
screamed Gretos, finally managing to say something.
That's 'cause I didn't throw it, darling.
Ho ho ho, throw it. Good one.
said Togard.
Shut up, Togard.
The end.
There's a 5-minute preview video of the Somewhere Enchanted movie. To view it, visit my YouTube channel or click on the card on the right. Happy viewing.